Good evening, this is the regular meeting of the solid waste, this is the regular meeting of solid waste. Today is Tuesday, December 12th, 2023, and the time is now 4:22 p.m. And I will call the group to order. We have everyone here, except for David, except for David, Neely and Peter Karen, and will everyone join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah. We don't have any old business on the agenda, so we move into new business, and the first item is trash bags update and discussion. Jim, this has been an issue that the Board of Health, like in the health office has been working on for probably like the last week and a half. Do you want to bring everyone up to speed?
Yes, so I think most of you know that we went with a new trash bag vendor after having quality issues with our previous manufacturer. The vendor was vetted extremely well, references were called. We met with them several times, and unfortunately we experienced trash bag problems. So we've been managing them well. The office staff has done tremendously well in curbing people's concerns and aggravation. We've been replacing bags for them. Initially, it was an issue with the bags opening, which still exists. And then we had a tearing issue, ironically, in a location that wasn't at a seam. So it was definitely a manufacturing error. However, I sent out an email after receiving some complaints and expressed my displeasure. Everyone in the department responded right away, including our contact over at Waste Zero. She was very distraught at the fact that we were having problems. I can't speak enough about her response, and we have 50 new cases arriving tomorrow. And this just happened 10 days ago. So we can't ask for any more than that. We're not sure when that shipment will be in tomorrow. It might be a little later than the normal closing time, so we'll have to discuss that tomorrow. So we have something there to unload the 50 cases. I plan to meet Ms. Barr there from Waste Zero personally tomorrow. She's coming down to make sure she's here when the delivery is made. Anyone who knows her would expect no less. She's great. So I anticipate having a discussion with her tomorrow about how we're going to move forward. There was discussions about taking 50 cases back. However, since the initial concerns about quality, the calls have seemed to subside a little bit. So I don't want to be hasteful and just swap out cases unless we know where the root of the problem is.
Give us credit.
Right. I'll flush that discussion out with her tomorrow, but I want everyone to know that they responded as I would hope they would, because as I always said in my dialogue with them, this is a partnership. At least I look at it that way. It's obvious they look at it right. However, in all of this, it got me thinking about perhaps having another option available to the consumer, because most of the people who came in explained how they handle their trash. Unbeknownst to me, most people put trash in their own bags and then insert that bag into a Dighton bag. So I would like to have a brief or detailed conversation, whatever you so choose, about perhaps offering stickers as an alternate to bags.
I was gonna make that point this
Yeah.
evening. Well, mind if I know,
Mr. Chairman?
I remember, I think Taunton did that a few years ago. And I don't know whether it was success or failure, but to the point, I think it'd be a great idea. I think we'd have to be cautious regarding looking at one size fits all sticker, if you would, or a small sticker, a small price sticker versus a large bag, but I think it's a great idea. And back to your point, I've actually seen that occur, you know, as you're driving around, you see the trash bags out there and somebody's put their bag inside of a diaper bag. So I think we should explore that. Absolutely.
So my initial response to the bag problems, because I'm a problem solver, is to get rid of the bags. But I've taken what you've said to heart, and obviously that's not an option, because Dayton's done very well with its pay-as-you-throw program and its tonnage, so I wouldn't want to jeopardize that. So initially, the stickers was going to be a replacement because it's still a pay-as-you-throw proposition. However, I think giving the consumer a choice between bags and stickers is really the answer. That said, I've done a couple of, I should say I've gone ahead a couple steps in some cases. I talked with the curbside pickup vendor. They don't have any opposition to a sticker. They feel that the sticker should be fairly large so that they don't have to look at it. They were not opposed to two size stickers so that we would have a large and a small option still. They did want some nomenclature on the sticker that limited the size of the bag that would be allowed for that sticker. But they didn't have any issue with picking up the bags or the stickers, or stickered bags, I should say.
So this is a really strange thing. Most people don't realize that they can use that blue bag as the can liner. And it's really strange because I actually had a conversation with somebody and they're like, I can put my blue bag in there. And it's like, yeah, you don't need another one in there. And it's like, it was, you know, kind of blew their mind because they were so used to that being the can, so to speak, out on the road. Some of the concerns that you are going to need to watch is with stickers, things start to happen and it's on a customer service and it's on something you guys would be dealing with. Oh, I put the whole sticker on the bag. It got ripped off somehow. I put the bag on, I put the sticker on the bag. It should be there. Again, somebody stole it, you know, like, so that's something that's gonna be a customer service thing that, you know, you guys will have to handle on that.
So I've anticipated that, and I have no problem going on camera and showing people take a sticker off the bag, not carrying the bag. So, and our curbside vendor also said that they do not have a problem with leasing it, so to speak.
Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah.
Because they do it now with the bags.
Yeah.
So, that said, at least the initial conversations and to Daytonians at home who are very good about following the program, I think if you did put a bag out without a sticker or in the absence of a bag, the first time your trash didn't get picked up, you'd realize that you need to put the sticker on or buy the bags. So, but giving the consumer choice, I thought was a good idea.
So what?
Absolutely.
Size of the bags per sticker? Like a
It would be the
regular trash bag is
same.
33 gallons, whatever.
Yes.
What sticker would that be?
So we would mirror the size of the bags that we sell. So, and forgive me, I don't know them offhand. I think the large is a 30 change bag and the small is a 20 or less.
I think it's a 15.
Okay.
15.
Okay, so the stickers would mirror that. So you would have to, on the sticker, clearly legible, maximum bag size for this sticker is. So when you go to the store, if you're buying your bags, you know what type of sticker you need to buy. Honestly, I don't know where the consumer will go. Part of me says they'll stay with the bags because they're used to it, but I think there is a faction of people who will use the stickers.
Yeah, because what is that size bag in that tractor?
That's probably a 13 gallon.
15.
Yeah, that's,
So-
I was gonna say, you're gonna have a range, I think, of like those which are typically in a kitchen or perhaps a bathroom or a laundry room. 13, 14, 15, and then I don't think there's anything in the 20s. I think it jumps up to the 30
Well,
plus that black or gray bag.
That's the problem. There's something called a flex bag. Hefty makes them. It's kind of like little beaded kind of things.
All right, I've seen,
And we've actually done studies on one community that wanted to do that. At one point, I think Way Zero even offered these bags about how much more people can put in there. But they are on the box, it'll say 17 gallons, but it's flex, so people are allowed to get more in there. So it's something, again, you guys are gonna have to be really clear that,
Well,
Yeah.
okay, just based upon that comment, I would say, okay, this size sticker, or we'll consider a small bag, anything up to, and again, this is just for
Up
point of
to.
up to 20 gallons.
Yeah.
Above 20 gallons,
That's what I'm
it
saying.
doesn't
You guys
matter.
have to
Yep,
really
You have to buy
Be very
the
clear.
larger or more expensive sticker.
Yeah.
However, the curbside vendor did say that there would be a max on the large size because
Well, yeah.
he doesn't want to pick up leaf bags,
Right.
which are 50 gallons or better of trash. So.
Or contractors bag, things
Right,
like that.
exactly.
Well, again, it's a matter of once we propose and Board of Health perhaps adopts it, it's a matter of then,
Yeah.
education.
Right.
Yep.
And it's, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Certainly, our relationship with Waste Hero is steering towards, if it comes up again, response will be great. But I think if a consumer buys a bag that is defective, they have a choice to buy a sticker the next time they go to the store. And I like that as a consumer, that I have the option.
Would we have an opportunity to have, just as an example, Hannaford's to carry stickers as well?
Every vendor, in my opinion,
Yeah.
every vendor that's a pay-as-you-throw program vendor would have the option of either one.
Okay.
Was there an incentive for them to carry stickers, or would there be an incentive?
So, do you want to?
I was gonna say, so finally I was able to get the word of what, you can charge. So you can and definitely making the term they're using is make the vendor whole. So and you can also put in a little bit of, a couple cents, so, whatever labor costs they have or whatever, so you can do that. It was one of those things that I've asked my fellow colleagues that have been around for 20 years. They didn't know. So finally I was able to nail the boss, the head person, and they said, oh, definitely. So it's something that we're all going to be talking about soon because it's coming up more, in more and more communities, the same issue. So, yeah.
The only, and this is just for discussion, because I haven't flushed it all out yet, and I don't have it in a fancy little colorful spreadsheet yet either, is, could we charge less for the sticker? Because now a consumer needs to buy a bag. So that I haven't figured out yet, because I don't know how much it could cost.
Yeah, but however, what the pay as you throw bag also does is it helps to fund the town trash program as well. Still, there's a balance back there too.
I agree with you. I just, it's probably another deeper discussion further down on the agenda. I'm starting to think that covering the entire cost of the solid waste program with bag sales is it's just a very difficult thing to do
Like the entire program with recycling or just the trash?
with recycling, everything. So if we can narrow down our thought processes as to what we want the bags to pay for,
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be more tangible. Right now, trying to get it to pay for the whole
Oh, yeah,
program,
yeah. Yeah.
which, by the way, we haven't even talked about soft costs
Mm-hmm.
in any of that.
No,
It's just, I don't see it as a tangible.
And so that's when I was looking at the other communities. That's what I was really looking at. You can't just look at the population. There's so many different factors
Mhm.
within, and then a couple soft costs that really are impacted by it.
But it is a good point to raise. I mean, let's face it, there will be a faction that will say you're charging me the full price, for the sake of argument, $2 for the large sticker, and I have to use my own bag. That's just not fair. Now, I would like to think in this community that's in the weeds, but it'll still be there. And I guess the response would be, well, pay as you throw. You can use the bags, you can use your own bag.
Well, I think we have a unique opportunity with the changing in staff, the changing in thought processes, the changing in bag vendors, the possible invitation of stickers to do a really, really good PR campaign through the Board of Health and its members, where we actually have a presentation that we can tell the consumers, this is why you're paying for a bag and a sticker. It's not because the Board of Health is looking for revenue to offset costs of staff members. It's because we're trying to pay for this program. And here's what the program costs. This is the real numbers of what this costs. Nobody's ever done that.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, what I was gonna say is, we're all assuming that stickers are cheap. I don't know if you've ever ordered mass quantities of high quality
And
thick
he said,
stickers
yeah,
that can't be copied and a home
oh,
thing.
that's,
They're pricey. And a bag, I think they're about, from Waste Zero, it's about 30 cents. So, it's not really gonna be that much. We're talking,
Okay.
maybe 10, 20 cents, if even that. So it's a
Okay.
very small increment. And then again, you have to look at your soft costs. If
Right.
it's 10 cents cheaper, how much more extra work are you doing?
Yeah, because I don't know how these.
I don't know, but look at the
Was-
cost of the stickers. It's,
Do we have to put them in 10 packs or, I don't know any of that yet. This is just initial discussion, so.
To your point, regarding the PR campaign,
mhm,
hopefully we'll be there by the next annual town meeting. But I would suggest to the Board of Selectmen that, and the moderator,
mhm.
time be carved out to make that presentation. May only have 100 people
Yeah.
there, but
No, it's important. That's a prime opportunity. Prime opportunity to do that.
Do that?
You want me to? We'll do it together. How's that?
All right, all right.
I like your fancy library boards you had up at the last
Yeah.
meeting.
well, point being, I mean, if you take every opportunity
Yeah, I agree.
to present this to the public.
Yeah.
Whether it be electronically,
TV,
speaking verbally,
cable, yeah.
whatever. At the end of the day, you step back and say, I couldn't have done any
I agree.
more.
Right.
So,
Yep.
No, I agree. I wasn't making fun, we just.
I think that's a great place, a great venue to get that information out. They're all coming in the front door right there, have something right there. for them
Exactly.
To see.
Handouts, yeah.
if it's a handout or a presentation and or both, but point being, I mean, that's an opportunity.
People like to look at it, so.
Mhm.
yeah.
and when do your bills come out?
Yeah, like real. Oh, yeah, like,
Quarterly, oh no, semi-annually, I'm sorry, the tax bills.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, like, so like we missed the end of the calendar year one just based on timing right now, but.
and then getting it in, stronger bond.
So, yeah,
Every,
mhm,
so as you're looking into the stickers some more. I believe you're just looking for some comments to help steer you in that direction.
Yeah, I don't need anything else to do, so if everyone says the stickers are ridiculous, then I'm gonna not waste my time. But if you think it's worthy. then-
It's a possible viable option for a couple of reasons, but back to the hauler. So the gallons should be on the sticker, the dimensions should be on the sticker. That may want to entertain a color for large and small, because the guy in the back
Hmm.
that's wearing shorts in February doesn't need to read the sticker. He's just got to be able to reach down and
He does wear shorts in February.
Yeah.
I can't believe he does, but he does.
And as far as the cost, even if there was a big gap between the sticker and the bag, that could be one avenue to close the gap that you're trying to get on the pay-as-you-throw to cover the program. However, I don't think the way our setup was ever designed to cover the whole cost.
No, but we have to start to think, having that mindset though.
The mindset, yeah, I don't think you're ever going to get there. It never was there.
No,
So to close the gap. So it's very important, and like we had a discussion yesterday about the tonnage, that's where we really gotta be after. Is get the tonnage down. They don't need to know all the work we're doing behind the scenes. We just gotta steer them in the direction, get the tonnage down. So it's very important to identify if the stickers are gonna increase tonnage or not. And that will help answer your question if it's a viable project or not.
I mean, obviously, until we have the data in front of us, the real data, we won't know that, but. If I'm understanding what you shared with us for the past several times you've been in. Having a pay-as-you-throw program where people actually have to physically buy a bag or a sticker, that typically tends to, in itself. Make them be more mindful about how much trash they're creating.
Yeah, so the bag is the premier top one. That is the one. The sticker, like I said, it can be the slippery slope, how it's handled by the town and the residents. In your case, because you're a small enough community, let's say you have 10% of your residents who do it, it's not gonna be a huge bump, but when you start seeing it in some of the larger communities, it
Right.
really impacts it, but Stickers generally are a little bit higher.
Higher
than
in
an
terms of
exclusive
tonnage,
bag.
okay.
So and if you're using
It's
stickers,
small.
I like the idea the liability falls back on the residents on having the bag that's not gonna rip. It's
Right.
on them now.
Right. Well, yeah, right. And that's really what pushed me
Okay.
towards that thought processes with all the bags.
Right.
I say all the bags. It was not, we didn't have a line at the door, but we enough of them that it's a problem. Yeah,
It's small.
yeah, I agree with everything you said, but I also heard you say that Dayton's pretty responsible right now in
Right.
its trash generation tonnage.
Yeah.
So even if we did see a small percentage increase by the use of stickers, then, you know, we still would
Yeah.
probably be in good shape.
Yeah.
But how many towns do you know do it both ways?
Say that again?
How many towns do you know that do it as a hybrid, bags and stickers?
None.
Okay, well, I love being a leader.
And it's just, and I think in some ways, it's just the administration of the problem. It's just an extra layer of work kind of
Right.
thing. And we're seeing more communities leaving the sticker program, either going to the bag or going to a cart.
Oh, like a bin, okay.
But most of their stickers are kind of small.
Yeah,
So I mean, if you're really talking about a large sticker, like heavy duty. And I guess, I think the price is gonna be pretty comparable
Okay.
to, but again, you know, it's worth a try. I mean, the thing is, it's a good solution around bag quality. I mean, it
Right.
really is.
right.
But I'm sorry.
That's right.
So I know we're not hung up on the clear bag, but we have a clear bag for a reason and we don't monitor it all the time, but we have the avenue of just at a glance, what's going on. with the
Right.
Clear bag.
Right, that's exactly,
And once in a while, it might not be every year, it might be every 6 months. We need to do an audit.
Hmm.
You know, what's actually out there. You need boots on the ground.
yeah. Well, kind of like,
Yeah, like we, like we have like a clear, transparent, a bag from the town, but we also have like other bags that aren't actually like transparent within that bag though as well.
We know
So-
that, but that's part of the audit too.
Okay,
I mean, if the trash bag is full of leaves,
yeah, like,
it's not gonna pick it up.
yeah, like you can like feel that when you pick it up. Like, I mean, a bag of leaves is a bag of leaves, like you know what that feels like.
It could be paper, yeah. Crumpled up.
oh, I think we have a unique benefit of having a curbside vendor that
Open.
self-polices. He really does a good job. We really can't discount, it.
You're not gonna replicate that company.
No.
Mm-mm.
So I don't think we have that. If we were talking about another vendor or maybe a corporate vendor, not that I have anything against any of them, but
Yeah.
we don't have that type of
Right.
staff
Mhm.
on the trucks.
So, and the inventory is gonna be a little different. It's not impossible. But you could, because the flex from sticker to bag is gonna change, you know, the amount, but that's just an internal manageable part.
Yeah, and I've changed the whole structure. We're not doing the fiscal year buy bags thing now. I moved it
Right.
to October for a reason. I don't want it to line up with the end of the fiscal year, so I don't plan to have bags liquidate at the end of the fiscal year and scrambling to
No.
buy bags.
There's no need of it.
No, we should have some kind of,
But the sticker versus bags, you don't know where it's gonna go.
I don't know.
But you're right, though. Stay away from the end of the fiscal, right?
Well, the good thing about that, it's a great point, is to get pricing, we're probably gonna have a minimum. So as I understand it, we have a year and a half left on our contract. Through handshake, we're talking about at least interest for another 3-year contract.
Mm.
So even if we buy enough stickers to get us 2 or 3 years out, it's not for naught. You know, the program's gonna go on for at least another 4.5 years that we know of. So. But it's a good point. We don't wanna buy stickers and have, you know, hundreds of stickers left over if we change the program.
You know, alternatively, what some communities do is, with their bulky waste, instead of people paying the cash with it, they use a ticket or a sticker kind of method of that.
Mhm.
If you, worst case scenario, you had something left and, you
It's a
know,
great idea. We could use the stickers for bulk
yeah,
waste.
you know, that's, because they're, valued at $2.
Not sure it has the adhesive you want,
Well, you're right, I haven't seen it,
Right.
demo yet.
because the scenario she alluded to, we have that problem on bulkhead and pickup day. The sticker's missing,
Mhm.
or somebody took the item and they didn't had a chance to put the sticker on it now, so they want a refund.
Just no refunds.
I mean, you think you heard of it all, there's a new one coming.
Just a
Yeah.
quick point.
Do you guys have a problem with your trash? Has it ever been audited?
Only when it's radioactive. That hasn't happened, what, maybe 7 years now. That's been good on the medical iodine thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the reason I'm asking is because Mass DEP, we finally have been able to hire, this very moment in time, be fully staffed in the auditors. But I hate to say it, it's one of those jobs or turnover is huge. Imagine day in and day out auditing trash. So right now we're good. But you might not. So I wondered if you were.
No, it's just discussions, and the discussions were more for the recycling. And we haven't hit that yet, and I think that's important. But the market changed when we were really the strongest about to institute it, then the market changed. You're just making mountains everywhere, so why put a lot of energy into nothing?
Okay. Anything else on trash bags?
No, thank you.
Okay. So heading on to the continuation of the funding discussion based on expenses and revenues. Like at the meeting last month, Jim, he presented this analysis in terms of costs. Like what our expenses have been since FY19, what our revenues have been, both on the trash and recycling side. And we wanted to bring it back up to see if anyone had any additional feedback or thoughts. About the potential recommendations that we have here.
Just curious, Tom, how have the new costs at the transfer station, the increased costs been received by those using the facility? I'm sure there'll be a little bit of grousing, but overall, the new fees, how's that structure working out? People accepting it, or?
They just did. Overall, the quick answer, they're just happy to have a place to go. It's not the price. And some of them don't care about the convenience fee, they'll
Just want to get rid of it.
just want to get rid of, use a credit card. And when we first started the POS, the bank system would charge a convenience fee for each item. They didn't care. So I cut.
So the driver then really is, for people using, is the convenience, as we had discussed before. I've got a place to throw this. Okay, well, then maybe we'll have some more movement there, in terms of the fee structure. I mean, to look at down the road, because people are happy with it.
Having a curbside pickup option, do you mean?
No.
Oh, but the transfer station.
Just, I have a
Okay.
place.
The
I've got-
transfer
I've got
station
a-
is only for what does not fit in the bag for the curbside.
I've got an old refrigerator and a bed to
Mhm.
dispose of. I've got a place to dispose of it. Bottom line.
It's also items that can't go into the trash stream that we take to the transfer station.
Yeah, except for banned items, but we, hopefully, as this committee matures and the Board of Health gets settled, education is important. So again, like that refrigerator shouldn't really be ending up at the transfer station anyways. When you're buying one, they can take it back. There's a lot of that education that it's ready, there's a lot of resources to help us with that.
Comes down to, does the person that's buying that new refrigerator want to pay for them to take it out of their house?
Exactly, and that's a huge thing that people really need to
So you're
start.
thinking about it, you're at
Yeah.
the store and they're like, whoa, you can pay an extra 150, and at that moment, you're like.
You're already
"Oh, it's
making a
already-
capital
Yeah,
purchase
it's
as
already
it is.
15 for this, I'll just take care of it later, that's how they think.
Yeah.
And then
Well-
one of the cable access shows for one of the towns out here, I mean, I try to get people to understand, it's like, if you have the furniture store, appliance store, whatever, take it back for you. You don't have to carry it out to the curb and put it in your
Bingo.
car, you know, I'm like, you don't have to like step on the cat or like, you know, break the lamp on your way out, you know. Kind of like getting people to think about literally carrying that thing out, and they're like, oh, yeah, like. And then it becomes a no-brainer, you know, like, but you know, you've just paid, you know, 600 for your fridge, you don't want to think about it, but.
600, what are you buying a fridge? girl?
Yeah.
Oh, where you're going. Yeah, one of the little
I know,
ones.
I heard from a friend, I'm like, wow.
But here again, that's part of the education process. Back to your point. You're gonna pay an extra $75. I don't want, wait a minute. They come in.
Yeah.
They take it out, they drive off with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to your point, I'm gonna take it out of the, you know, run by here, put it in the back of a vehicle.
That you don't have.
Like a pickup
Yeah, yeah.
truck.
Oops,
don't
it's
have
not
one,
gonna
I've got
fit in my
one.
car now.
Gotta drive it all the way.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
You know, and the thing is, then people have it in their mind when they go to buy it, you know.
I'm sorry. So to answer your question. That the refrigerator was an example, I'm sorry.
that's all right.
The Missy and myself, we identified, we do have a need to tweak or look at the prices. But it's not warranted at the immediate moment.
No.
We need to look at the trailer size. There is concern about the tonnage going up because of the way we're handling trailers. And the way our attendant is assessing, because we leave them liberties. If you look at the slip I printed out for her, there's a lot of half loads. And that's a slippery slope, because
Yeah,
are they really half loads? So we gotta pay a little visit there and
Thank
see
you.
what's really going on. It's unfortunate, but I tried not to have it double staffed, because we don't need to have double staffed there for the volume, but we're gonna have to pick and choose on how to do that.
So,
If it goes over the sideboards of the pickup, it's a full load. If it stays inside the
Right.
bed, it's a half.
Yeah, but a lot of times there's an item. So they're paying for an item, and now the rest of the load is a partial. Right, so
Yeah,
if, what is really happening? Is that what's really happening, or is,
I understand.
yeah,
so another possibility, and I've seen what's becoming very popular and pretty much across the state is towns are contracting with their,
Mr. Neely?
they're contracting with their hauler.
Oh, yes, sir, come in.
you just scoot this way a little bit.
Yep.
Well. How are you, sir?
Not bad yourself.
Not bad.
Right,
Town looks good, Tom. How
Good evening.
Looks
it
good.
does, yeah, we did a good trade, great job.
What I was saying is, working with your hauler for them to pick up the items. They handle all the transactions for the payment and all that stuff, and the town has nothing to do with bulky waste. That's one option. That's the most common.
Yeah, hold on, how would that work? I'm sorry.
So you would have to talk to Borges.
Yep.
Or you could use a junk dealer. There's one that a few of the municipalities are using. Instead of if a resident wants to get rid of anything big and bulky,
Mhm.
instead of them, you know, schlepping it in their car, bringing it here, they would literally call, you know, Borges or this other person. You can have the information on the website.
Mhm.
They call them. They would pay for it over the phone using their credit card or whatever. And then the vendor would come and pick it up. The town has nothing to do with it. And that's becoming a really popular way for a lot of towns. What some towns are doing is kind of a slight hybrid because they make money on scrap metal. Is to only take things like furniture, whereas the scrap metal stuff, you know, they can drop off at the recycling center. That's another way, you know, that are doing that as well. So,
People, the metal part, people are learning, put on the side of the road, it's gone by the end of the day.
Mhm.
oh, yeah. But the, you know, the advantage is that it is, you know, at the curbside kind of thing. So that's just throwing that out there. But again, definitely looking at the trailer and truckload, because that's kind of an unusual thing, it's not very common. In a lot of the municipalities,
But what's not common?
allowing truckloads or trailer loads of stuff to come in. Usually it's just like, you know, a couple of items kind of thing. You don't give any pricing for someone coming in with a truck or a trailer.
Really?
So it's just literally, you
So
know,
we tried. Right, the last time we really hit this. We increased the item list and that's where the prices came. I see what you're saying.
so.
But I think, let's not forget a couple of things here. Number one, I agree, we look at cost avoidance, but as a town, as a municipality, we still, I think, need to have this service for our residents, the town, to have that transfer station available to them to bring things in as opposed to, you know, I'll contract out. So I agree with contracting out for certain items, but I still think we need to have a viable program where people can go and drive a pickup truck in or a trailer in because it's part of the service that the town provides to our residents.
And that's, you know, that's part of every town's culture and you know what they want to do with it as well. The other thing is, you know, the idea is not to have the transfer station go away or recycling center. If anything, it then would allow you to actually add in possibly other programs that you might not really have the time for right now as well. So.
Did you want to talk about your swap shed?
Well, I'm just curious how that works in other towns. You had mentioned a shed where people could bring reusable items
yep.
that.
So it can literally be a shed.
Mhm.
Or I have seen some towns where they only do it in the summer and they have like the big tent kind of things, like a tarpy kind of thing. Various things like that. The key is having somebody to maintain it. And what the towns, they're struggling right now is sometimes a lot of those volunteers are older. Or, you know, people just aren't interested in it. So some of them are working with, like residents who have tax abatement program, that's their job. And they love it, you know, but it's a cool idea, but you do have to have somebody to maintain it. Because it gets very cluttered and messy kind of thing. But they work great. I was just at a tour of a whole bunch, like, you know, there's some little section of all of books and, you know, various other things, kids' toys and, you know, walkers and wheelchairs and, you know, it's like a little bit of everything kind of thing.
Can I ask you a question?
But it was nice, so residents didn't have to, you know, feel like they had to throw it away, that they
Did
could
it
put it in.
affect the waste production? I mean, did it cut back on our tonnage, like a town's tonnage?
The
by
theory
using
is,
that?
is that it will. So this is the philosophy called the circular economy. Big picture is that if people don't have to constantly buy stuff and they know that there's going to be somewhere where they can get things, whether it's the library of things that I've talked about or this shed kind of thing, and people start getting in that mentality. The younger people will immediately like think of shopping at a used clothing store, whereas someone like us would be like, you know, but so it's a very, very different thing. But people don't have that same qualms as a swap shed or stock, you know, the mugs and all.
Are you talking about something like Berkeley has?
I'm sorry?
Are you talking about something like Berkeley has?
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yes. So Berkeley has, what they have is they have a little table, kind of a take it or leave it kind of thing. So I mean, it could be as simple as a table, but a lot of them do have like a shed where, you know, it's constant, you can store stuff vertically a little bit more. Holiday decorations, you know, like, you know, you put them in there. And
Would you,
Somebody, excuse me, does somebody have to be there all the time or just somebody there to
Nope.
maintain it occasionally?
No, nobody has to be there all the time. You know, again, it's the educational kind of thing, is, you know, you don't want people dropping off broken stuff or stuff that doesn't work. But no, somebody doesn't have to be there all the time. It's just, you know, maybe for now, I don't even know, you know, depending on how messy and organized it is. There are some people that love to come in and swap and they'll stand there and like organize the whole thing. So it really depends. So.
Open 24 hours or?
No. So this is just would be open when, you know, the transfer station's open, or if you wanted to have it, you know, part of the senior center or council on aging or something like that. It's wherever, excuse me, you'd want to have that.
Could I get a list of the towns that you know that are participating in that?
Oh, yeah, there's a ton of
I'd
them,
like
yeah,
to do
yeah,
some research
yeah.
on how the tonnage may have changed when they started that, once they started that program.
Yeah, so there's a lot, and then, like I said, it's kind of cool, they're all, again, part of the culture of the community, they're all very
The
different
social
stuff.
thing too.
And they're very
Get out,
well there,
and, and thrifting's a big thing now, so.
So I'll send you more.
That's.
So unofficially, we have that in town, but not through the transfer station.
Okay.
A lot of people contact the Lions Club in town,
Oh,
and that's how the items get repurposed. And sometimes it's they leave that auction or yard sale to support their own, the Lions,
Exactly.
which most of that money stays in our community anyways.
okay.
But there might be a way to do a hybrid, or in some other towns, do a third party.
Involved in helping
Exactly,
man
yeah.
It's possible,
Yeah.
but there's also other towns that take advantage of a third party, similar nonprofit organizations that they're coming to maintain it and clean it out. The items,
I think that's what.
yeah.
So, we have like our annual expenses, we have our revenues, we have, we have information about what we value. So like actually like breaks down into our bottom line budget. What we talked about last meeting with Missy is, how do we do this? How do we structure our operations compared, to how like other towns around us? As well, like in Missy, like you actually created a spreadsheet to kind of walk us through. So like what I'll do is, that's okay, I'll zoom in a little bit
So
and I can hand this over to you if you want.
this one is, that tab, I just put the entire state. I don't
Okay.
want to look at the entire state.
No.
But if we slide over to,
Southeast?
yeah, I think on this one I highlighted it, it says the cost. Slide over some more. It basically says. how
I think it's in the next one, let's see. I saw it earlier too, 1 second.
3 million of them.
Uh,
Go over to the right more. Once we
Stay right here?
keep going, once we see a lot of oh, there we go.
Oh, here we go, okay.
So what I've done is I've highlighted the ones in red that their programs are exclusively paid for out of property tax. And you're gonna see there's not a lot. I believe in our district down here, the southeast, there's only a Acushnet. And I can tell you right now that the few that are there, they're starting to look at programs as well. So one of the other important pieces of data that we need to look at is when their contract ends with their hauler and their
Because that will show when they might be making a jump.
yeah, and
Okay.
I can tell you right now, everyone's looking at that kind of thing. And if they're not now, they will be the next time. So, and then the other ones are broken down by whether they have a pay-as-you-throw program with bags or stickers or, small 35-gallon carts. What I don't know, and this is where I need to call them, is to find out, is this actually, how much of this is funding your program? So
Yeah.
when you had mentioned that originally the pay-as-you-throw was not designed to pay for the whole program. I believe like the philosophy, 10, 20 years ago was like, maybe have it pay for half of your program. And then the other half would come from, your taxes or whatever. But a lot of it, as you can see, there's a lot of changes down there. There's some towns that have all of the above on there. They'll have, tax, they'll have a fee, they'll have a transfer station sticker cost and a per visit cost as well, and pay T bags. So I guess the thing is, are there certain ones that you want to look at more closely than others? So I can find more information about them. Like how they're actually, are they fully funding their program with the stickers and the bags or is the property tax still doing it? There's a few communities that if you scroll down, not sure there's, I think.
I'm just gonna zoom out.
500 range where they have a fee and then they have a transfer station fee. Where.
I'm just, I'm
oh, yeah,
gonna
so
see if I
those-
can lock
those are the
this.
ones in the southeast are your neighbors pretty much. And I excluded the big cities. I mean, they're
Mhm.
just, they're not the same. And those are the ones that are still funding their programs through the property base because,
Do you
They
have
can.
a column in there?
I'm sorry,
Or do you have a column there? Have you done an analysis of what percentage of the overall program, okay, is funded by appropriated funds?
and that's what I need to call them to find out.
Okay, because obviously the smaller, the
Right,
better.
right. So so I broke it down into regional and then ones that are very similar to you guys in population. And then once we kind of hone in on that, I can call the towns to see if they're able to give me that information, like what, because that data I don't have. And now that everyone's doing their budgets, it's kind of on everyone's mind right now.
Because here again, living in the real world for a moment, the smaller you make that appropriated funds percentage, the more successful you are. I don't think, just me personally, I don't think it'll ever go to zero. However, the smaller you make it, the more successful your program is, I think. Because we're trying to get away from appropriated funds or trying to minimize appropriated funds and pay as you throw. If you throw,
Pay
then you
for it,
pay
yeah.
for it. If you throw, then you pay for it. But in terms of bags or
Right.
transfer, whatever, but I think that's a number that would give us some good information too.
And it's an interesting one. And again, where it comes down to culture, there are some communities that say, we don't care. Give us more fees. We don't want to change anything. We want it the way it is kind of thing. So, kind of weeding out those that are kind of an anomaly, but you're right, the most of them. And I don't know where it is right now. And I don't think a lot of the towns know either because, the costs have gone up so much right now. They're really kind of seeing the shock of it, of what they're in their own program. What might have been, 25% last year is now.
Yeah, no, yeah, like our last, oh, yeah, 2.5 fiscal years, like our increases have been around, I think, 125,000 just like in 2 fiscal years alone. That doesn't even account, like for the jump. Where was it from? I think like FY 20 to 21 as well.
I would like to think though that in those communities
Mm-hmm.
that let me live in the ideal world. In those communities that they have a small, whatever small is,
Mm-hmm.
percentage of their program is paid for by appropriated funds.
Yep.
As costs increase, they could either remain stagnant with those individual costs, or those communities could increase their individual program costs appropriately to try to keep that appropriated cost minimum.
Agreed, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean,
Yep.
that's viable information too,
Yep.
Yeah.
to look at.
Yeah. And there are some communities and where you see the communities that have the annual fees. Those are the ones that seem to have the most flexibility. Like, off the top of my head, I know there's a few that every year they will automatically raise it, a small amount.
Are there restrictions? Okay, if you pay an annual fee of $500, what is it? What is that purchase?
Mhm.
What is that fee purchase for you if you pay it, you as the individual homeowner? What does that pay for?
And the thing is, are you asking me personally?
No,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
saying,
and so-
the
and it's-
generic
Yes.
use.
Yeah, I think we have to define that. Like, I mean,
Right,
it's an
exactly.
incumbent on us, just in terms of the public outreach and education, to try to define exactly what that's funding.
I agree. The question I'm asking is,
Yeah.
in these communities that have a flat annual fee.
Yeah, I don't.
What's that purchase? Not for you as an
Right,
individual,
right, okay.
you, the generic
So,
use.
yeah, and that's, again, the
Yeah.
thing is where normally I would cut all this data down, so you're not seeing all the noise in there.
Mhm.
But all that noise is actually really important. I mean, just the simple fact of, where it says family, 2 family, 1 family like that, that actually impacts your community because, if you have a lot of rental homes, where you have 4 different units in each one, that's gonna be different than a community where it only has, mainly single family homes.
I,
So, but I mean, the thing is,
Yeah.
that so what you get within there, you know, again, when you're looking in there, that's when you start looking at all this other stuff, whether, you know, you have your bulky waste pickup, who pays for it, transfer stations. I love them to death and recycling centers, but they can impact your cost quite a bit. So there's,
I
you know, all
guess the
those,
question that I would, let me narrow the question down a
Yeah.
little more. If you, the generic you,
Mhm.
is paying for a point of discussion, $500 a year, does that buy you in the communities that are doing, does that buy unlimited access to the transfer station? Does that buy unlimited number of bags out in front of your house? Does that buy unlimited bulky waste pickup? Okay, what does that buy?
yeah, so there are communities that have that. And their tonnage is through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, you
that's
know,
why
so
I
that
asked the
kind of
question.
thing, you know, and. Yeah, so there are a few out there like that, and that is the case, and what they then become is they also then start becoming importers of trash from surrounding,
Bingo.
you know,
Yeah.
surrounding communities.
We want to stay away from that model.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I asked the
Yeah.
question because,
People,
Yeah.
people think, you know, like, why can't we can't have this, you know?
Right,
I'll drive over to that community and just, you know,
right, right.
perhaps,
We've done really well and the board has supported some expenditures through some grant funding that we've received by being responsible in our trash production. I would not want a reversal of that.
no,
We want to take that and move it forward. But by the same token, to your point, your question is very pointed because we have failed to keep up with the rising costs.
Yeah.
Where we had a program that was subsidized by taxes. Addition with our revenues that we receive from bag sales, but as the increases went up, we failed to carry on and keep those percentages equal. And now we're in a situation where we're in some trouble. We gotta
Yeah.
figure this out.
Out of an $850,000 solid waste program, like we fund through general appropriation, yeah, just over 30, hold on a sec, no. Yeah, like we have a pay as you throw in other revenues, so like only actually funding 34% of the actual cost. So 100 minus 34, so, so then we rely like, we rely on general fund revenues to, to fund 66%.
well, that was one of the drivers when we started looking at the transfer station. We picked that as an entity, recognizing that, you know, the.
Oh, yeah,
We had
agreed.
We said we've
Yep.
got to
Yeah.
catch up,
Yep.
if you will. So, yeah, I understand that.
And I mean, we've done extremely well there. Like, I mean, in terms of like catching up and bringing that up to speed, I mean, I think that's a bright spot for our group in the last year.
And I live in a community that does not have a transfer station or a recycling center. I am so jealous because for me to like, and I know how to get rid of stuff, you know, for me to do that. So it is something that, you know, again, it goes back to your culture of your community, what people value. And I'm not sure who said about a survey, but you know, like how often do you use the recycling, you know, your recycling center? Would you use it more of this or that, you know, like, and really, because if we start, you know, looking at those costs of it, people are gonna say, oh my God, it costs that much. But it's a good, but it's a good value for your money, for what you're doing, what we're getting. And people don't realize that until it's gone or you don't have it. And like I said, I'm like a kid in a candy shop and I come visit, I'm like, look at this, you know, taking photos and all this kind of thing. And a lot of communities that have the stations, they built them like 20, 25 years ago when the landfills closed,
Mhm.
are now in the process of updating them and, you know, because they are so well done and it's giving the residents an option
A value,
where to put
yeah.
their stuff instead of the curb or that kind of thing.
So rough math,
But yeah, we do need to look at the numbers of where, you know, the other communities are putting it.
rough
Okay.
math on that town, we're a little over 8,000 people.
I'm sorry,
Rough math on that town, I forget how many households. We're 8,000,
3,000.
3,000 houses,
households, yeah.
less than 1,000 using a transfer station.
So that's the thing is, and then we look at households rather than residents. Because again, you know, the way you tax and all your utilities are based on, you know, residents. But so we look at it that way. So again, some of the data, some of the communities might match your, you know, households, but only a small, tiny handful will use the program for whatever reason.
I look at that as exceptional numbers. You're saying a third of our people use the
Less.
transfer station?
less,
But that's pretty good numbers. That's
less.
25 to
Oh.
30%.
So, yes.
That's a lot.
I think Mike was quick saying that we did a great job on revamping this price schedule. That's to be seen. Because we gotta compare the actual expenses for the hauling, the tonnage and the fees, making sure it's working. Yes, it was important that we did it. But
We upgraded after.
I think it's
not
I think it's premature saying with the arrow, we did good.
No,
Yeah,
but that said, I think that's a good point. Don't we have 6 months of data?
Yes,
Wait.
yeah, like in,
A mid-year
yeah,
audit, right?
probably not.
Yeah.
I
Probably
think
not
that'd be
tonight.
A good idea to do.
Right.
I'm sure Mr. Perry would.
Oh, except for,
we did at the end of the first quarter, like, and everything was actually pretty good.
but that fluctuates Christmas time or fall time. It gets heavier. January, February, March. A little bit of April should be light, then it'll pick up again towards Memorial Day. I don't know if I'm gonna be useful to give out the elementary, junior highs tonight. Some key.
The what?
To give out,
Give up.
toy give out.
Okay,
Some key people are not there and they just had another shipment come in, so I probably should go over there and help that out,
Oh, Tom, please, we'll miss you, but you're wanted elsewhere.
unless you need something else.
May he be excused, Mr. Chairman?
yes, absolutely. Tom, thank you. You're excused.
Thank you for all the data. Thank you.
Oh, see, good.
So I threw all this out there to see, you know, what way you want me to go. So I, you know, I know I need to contact the communities, but you know, contacting 50 is different than actually contacting 20 to some year. And who will actually give me the data. So there are some communities that are not in, like they said, the one that is my what I think are the most similar, that might not even be down here, but are very similar to your population, the residents who use your program, and that it's curbside and not or both. Because a lot of the smaller communities do not have curbside. So that's another thing, you know, like your residents.
Oh, it's like breaking it down one way, but then you have to break it down again to just create one particular bucket.
So that's, you know, that's where I was kind of, you know, things like that. So, you know, looking at those communities like that kind of thing, because that's a huge one right there, that being able to have a transfer station is a really a good indicator. And then there are other things within your cost structure, whether within your contract, your municipal trash is part of that contract. Some communities it is not. Sometimes the school, so the trash for this building.
Oh, got it. Okay, yep, okay, yep,
You know, who and how pays for that.
okay,
And also the schools are another issue.
Yep.
You know.
got it.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
So, you know, we can look at those kinds of things. What else? And then frequency, the other thing, what I kind of eliminated ones who were not doing recycling, picking up, you know, weekly. So again, trying to match your program.
Municipal buildings,
I'm
those
sorry?
have, the municipal buildings, would they not have to come out of appropriated funds?
They could pay for however, but it would not be part of the municipal residential trash program. I mean, it would still come out of the funds, but it would not be something the residents could affect. I mean,
I understand that. I just, you know, in terms of paying for it, this building, the trash.
Yeah, that would have to be like more of a general fund appropriated
Yeah,
area
exactly.
rather than a user fee because.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to be honest, most towns don't do that. They do kind of just keep them all together, kind of thing. With that.
Not, it's a valid point.
yeah,
Completely
Yeah.
agree. That's the most trash we'll make in 6 months because we had an event here.
Well, I'm talking, yeah, no, but we're talking about the schools,
Yeah, well, the schools.
you know, so I mean,
Schools use their own. vendor.
Yeah.
oh, I
What figures
understand.
in those components?
I'm sorry.
You're gonna put figures in those columns.
There are some figures in these columns.
Yeah, like and I emailed out the spreadsheet like earlier. So yeah, like everyone has, like everyone does have the spreadsheet. They can go through it, manipulate it.
I just kind of threw it out there and, see who you really wanted me to pinpoint.
Yeah, so does it make sense, just a suggestion?
Mhm.
First of all, thank you for all the work you've been doing.
Yes.
But I think in order for us to get what we need out of this, I think we should hone down
Yeah.
your
Mhm.
list.
Yeah,
And I'd like to do that with maybe 2 or 3 of us so that we can give Missy, here's the communities that
Mhm,
we think
yeah.
are closest to Dayton.
mhm.
And can you get us more information on how they develop their
yeah.
programs? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, because like I said, I did my own little,
Right.
this is who I.
Yeah, like who like our comp staff, who like we typically like, I don't, I don't want to say try to follow because like when we, when we take a look at what Rehoboth doing, we're ahead of them. When we take a look at, when we take a look with what Rainham does, they don't have any existing structure at all. So yeah, like we're ahead of them. Like we're ahead of them. We're ahead of them, but they won't come up. Like we won't have we won't have an opportunity though to compare ourselves to them because they don't,
Right.
have a curbside offering because we're ahead of them in that.
It's
Yes.
part of,
It's a weird.
So they, again, and that's what I wanted you guys to understand, it's not just,
Yeah.
I was saying, it's like going to a salad bar, literally, like, okay, everyone has trash, so that's your lettuce, but all this other stuff on there, like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of cucumbers or little, and it's,
but I would still like to see, and if everybody disagrees with that, then I'll back, but I would also like to see. Again.
Yeah.
The smaller the percentage of appropriated funds, I would say the more successful that program is. And those towns that are, let's say, equivalency to Dayton's size and structure.
Yeah.
That's the one you can really dive into. You say, okay. Why?
Yep.
Why was it successful in that community? We could do that. And
Yep.
could we be successful with that piece of the program and that piece
Yeah.
here in town? Okay,
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. Like, I mean, when I think of those examples, I think of Freetown. And I think of Plainville just as 2 examples that are kind of like us,
But there could be.
to
towns-
dive down.
There could be towns in other parts. of the
oh, yeah.
city that-
Oh, no, I agree. Yeah. Yep.
so an example in Plainville, they don't have the recycling center. So that's, that is one of the components that is a really big financial drivers, who doesn't have and who does, kind of thing. So,
Well, instead of picking out 2 or 3 members, does every member agree with looking at the list and coming up with their top 3? And then we can see what the overlap is between members, and that may give us.
I was gonna say, I was just gonna agree with him, I'd say 5, but 3 is
Yeah.
not.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I like that.
And then, like I said, there's some communities in there that are not down here, but they're pretty close to,
Mhm.
Your programming. And I'm not familiar with those programs, but I can, contact my colleagues and, get the inside scoop on them and stuff like that. Because numbers don't always
Right.
tell.
Yeah.
And then I've also thrown some communities out because their numbers looked really weird. Like,
Mhm.
when you get those, like, okay. No.
Yeah, it's an outlier. Yeah.
Yeah. These are self-reporting information,
Mhm.
Right.
but,
And you sent those out to us, right?
Yes.
Because I didn't print them out. I couldn't print them out from.
Yeah, you-
my phone, so I was gonna do it.
It's easier to manipulate. Yeah. Printing out would be a
once I get
process.
this information, so
Okay.
off the top of my head, my understanding of taxes is that if you live in a community where the houses are valued higher, their tax revenues are going to be more. So I can actually go into, the census data or the data from the state and look at, housing values and things like that.
I still think it comes down to, the normalization comes in when you look at, again, percentage of your appropriated funds paying for the program. I think there's a normalizing factor in there that gives you a legitimate basis to compare communities of our size, if you will, you know? But that's just me.
And then again, once we get those numbers, we can actually look back at them because it could have been some program that they started 10 years ago
Mhm,
that saved them money that, won't,
mhm.
but once we have, those percentages, we can look at any.
Okay, so we kind of in agreement here that what needs to happen. So do we start with the numbers here or do we start with this chart that we all
No,
have
I think we picked the top five from the chart that Missy.
individual?
Us individually.
Yeah,
We
okay.
get them back to Michael.
Yeah, that would be our homework.
And then the great
And
thing
we can
would be if there's a consensus, then our list back to Missy will be easy.
Okay.
If there isn't, then we have another discussion.
When do you want that? And do we have to stay for detention if we don't do a home?
No, I have a big enough detention list as it is.
I think, the way it's kind of broken out, it's kind of easy to see, and then that's too bad.
So in terms of a date, maybe, let's just looking, I mean. Oh, yeah, like if anyone hasn't heard, Jim Maggie will be on vacation. He's been telling everyone, so I just want to make sure everyone knows.
When is that?
Um,
17.
Oh, my goodness.
yeah,
In case you didn't.
2 months?
Month.
Oh. Oh, you said January. I said.
Mm. He thinks he's gonna be missed.
Dave,
How-
Dave will miss me.
How about having like a week? Yeah, like for like for everyone to provide 5 towns over email. By the 19th, is that too soon?
For a meeting or just email?
Only an email.
Okay. You just want the name of the town?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, is that okay? Does that work for
That
everybody?
works for me.
Okay.
And then there were some towns that we don't have data for, and
Mhm.
one is Rehoboth.
Mm.
So they don't share that, and I've tried to get data from them,
Yeah.
so.
You mean the town we're in a regional agreement with for school?
Sorry?
You mean the town we're in a regional agreement? with for
Yes,
school
yes,
now?
yes. So sometimes I go in by the back door and side door to get these information from people.
Okay.
I guess then you know the response that I get.
Great.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, so, yep, just let me know and then I can, go on from there and see what they are and then actually contact them. And this is actually a good time for this information because
Everyone's
Like,
focused on it. Everyone's planning
focused
for
on it. They can probably
25
go,
right
"Yeah, I
now.
just looked at that 2 minutes
Yeah.
ago kind of thing. So that's the other good thing. They don't have to dig it out.
I have a question on this sheet here, Jim.
Yes,
Down here it says, potential revenue,
yes.
recycle revenue. Can you, like, in the green?
Yeah, so the bottom portion of this shows how we would have to, or a example of how we could fully fund this program.
Mhm.
The trash could be fully funded, meaning the rubbish expense, tipping expense and the curbside pickup. If we increase the flags to 27 and 17, okay? Because recycling has no revenue side to it.
Right.
That would be a $40 annual fee
Per resident.
per resident. Or a $100 to $120 fee per household. In order to balance the budget for the rest of the expenses.
Okay.
So this would be an increase in bags and how it would either be an annually or quarterly bill to the townspeople. This would be a $30 a month, quarter expense.
Hmm.
I actually feel that increasing the bags to this price is probably not a wise move. I would, if we went this route. Of course, after the data is fleshed out that we talked about tonight. I think that the bag sales would be in line with the price we have now. Okay, with stickers. And if we went with a quarterly payment request for users, it would be slightly higher than what we proposed here. But again, this is just initial discussions, okay?
Which is where we need
Well-
to educate.
If
Right.
me as a consumer
Mhm.
and listening, my initial reaction would be, if I'm going to pay $30 a quarter fee, I expect my taxes to go down $120.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually agree with you. And that's the.
You gotta write that down.
That is going to be the quagmire. for the
Bingo.
Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because if we are able to come up with a fully funded service for the community,
Mhm.
i.e. bag sales and a quarterly fee structure, and that is gonna be taken out of the operating budget, then I think the selectmen have to listen to the fact that taxes may have to be impacted.
Yes, I mean, oh yeah, like on the flip side, we have like exponentially increasing costs everywhere. Everywhere, like in, like everywhere in our general fund budgets. So like we're trying to deal still like with all these crazy increasing pressures at once. And yeah, like when we don't under the current structure we have, we don't have an ability to do it all. Something has to give. And it's really a challenge, as we know. It just,
I think
and our revenues are dropping off. Like our revenues globally as a town, like just, even compared to 5 years ago, aren't there either. And it's,
as my final comment on this, as a consumer,
oh,
okay?
mhm,
I would be willing to pay that small fee quarterly
mhm.
to see my trash truck come by, get thrown in. I'm done with it.
It's,
And
yep.
I could say, well, I don't have control over that, but I in fact do, because I could choose not to take the service. The other piece of that is with the bags, I have control over how much trash I'm willing to create and pay for.
Mhm.
So my initial reaction, other than my taxes
Mhm,
don't need
yeah.
to go down, is I'm kind of okay with that. Because I do have some control over this.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's the point I was trying to make with, when you set it up as a user-based structure.
Yeah.
Then the people who use the program are paying for the program.
Exactly.
So, and to me, that's fair and equitable. So, we're not gonna get that all flushed out today.
No.
But I think we're laying the tracks. In such a way where whatever decision we make, they're gonna be based on a whole hell lot of a diligence.
And the PR piece.
Oh, God, we need to, like, we have like an education deficiency here in what we've done, and we owe it to everybody to bring everyone up to speed while we do this as well. Like, I do think maybe in the winter. Oh, yeah, like, I mean, like, as part of that, like, and to really try to get out there the facts of what, so, yeah, like, we're trying to do and work on, like, I do actually like the idea of the survey. Just to use it as a, like as a tool to educate people, but get their buy-in and feedback as well.
Yeah, so, I don't wanna speak to you, but I wanna bring up that social media discussion. we had. I'm actually agree wholeheartedly with Joanne that social media isn't always the answer. I know that social media is used more now than it ever has been in Dayton.
Mhm.
But with this, I'd like to go back to some of the grassroots way of doing things, and either if it's in the newsletter
Mhm.
or a direct mailer or something.
Mhm.
I don't want this to be decided on social media.
I don't disagree.
I want this to be a wholehearted effort, so. And that wasn't me. Joanne had a lot of those
100%.
ideas to say too.
So what is the time frame if you were to make these changes? When would they?
Well, I think you said no, not before February, right?
Okay.
I thought you were on vacation.
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm asking is because the other thing is, when you're talking about going back to the grassroots,
Mhm.
face to face is huge.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking of any events or festivals, but, the February, there was not a lot going on, but, to really,
So
but again, it's not an all at the time, so it's kind of a rolling
Incremental,
thing.
yeah.
Because if you do it all at one time and somebody's in Florida or wherever for, 3 weeks, they just missed it all.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have to be, ongoing.
So I know that we have a fairly new board. I'm fairly new to this position, but I'm tasked with the responsibility, both from the selectmen and the Board of Health, to try to figure this out. I have to put a budget together for this department. Right now, it's not a sustainable budget. So I'm telling you that I would like to see some resolve before my budget gets submitted for the next fiscal year. I don't know if that's tangible or not, but that's my goal.
Well, let me ask this.
Mhm.
When is the next, did we miss or the next tax mail or tax bills go out?
March.
No, they will go out before the end of the month. We have like a legal obligation to, we have to get, you have to get that out. Oh, you have to get that out before the end of the year.
Okay, I would propose, I think that's a little too early for us, maybe a direct mailer.
I agree.
To summarize, and look, this is where we are. This is
Yep.
where we're moving towards. And to your point, which you articulate very well at essentially every meeting, we just were stagnant, as things were, falling apart around us. We just stayed stagnant in terms of rising costs, et cetera. And I think if we couch it that way, so everything is going up, we understand that, we understand it's difficult. However, we want to do the pay as you throw, pay for the program outside of appropriated funds as best we can, and start that ball rolling now, so we can come out later on and say, hey, as a result of this and this and this, as we said back in our mailer way back when, this is what we've come up with. Continuous.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, I agree.
Building upon the previous piece of information.
Yep.
When you're doing your budget, how far out would you like this information so you can analyze it to?
As soon as I get back from vacation, he's gonna be plugging on me to start working on budgets.
Okay, so.
I don't-
Yeah, like typically, like we ask for, typically, if we, typically we ask for departmental budgets to be submitted by, February 1st. As a draft, we do have some, like, as long as we have a proposal. We have an opportunity to continue working through this process. Especially to do the education, get the buy-in we're talking about.
Which, quite honestly, I'm gonna give him a placeholder budget, but it
Yeah.
won't be entirely accurate, because I'm gonna have about a week to work on, so.
Why I'm asking is, I talked to Jim about possibly doing like a survey at the vendors that sell our garbage bags now for Dayton. Maybe setting up a little table and asking the people of Dayton, did you just buy garbage bags? Would you give us your opinion? Would you just like to keep getting these garbage bags, or would you maybe like the option of stickers? Both, what do you think? Get their opinion at those vendor spots. How many people are actually buying? And I suggest the beginning of the month for people that are on fixed incomes, going and setting the tables up right when they're gonna go buy their groceries, their bags for the month.
I'm just thinking of somebody sitting there. I'm usually the
Oh my God,
one
like-
sitting at those places, so I'm going, whoa, that's a long time. I mean, not for anybody. I mean,
Did you buy bags and then having to like sort through those who bought bags and didn't just bought a can of Coke?
Or do you have a things hanging around the table, like the
Girl Scout cookies.
yeah, or like people that
Yeah.
are collecting political opinions
Yeah,
from
exactly,
people.
yeah.
Like it says, if you're
Yeah.
from Dayton, please,
Yeah, the stores are usually good for that. I've done a lot of political things. It's just that, really to get a lot of people, you're gonna, you can try and, tackle people, after work or on Saturdays. that
Right.
kind of thing.
different
It's just
locations,
staffing
different
and
ways.
concerning.
I think it's a great idea. I think the timing is a question.
It is,
right? We're
that's-
going to close once
Yeah.
a year. But I think setting up a table at some of the events we have here is a good idea, but the only problem is we're already past budget season.
Right.
So it depends on how much.
How do we best engage people based on the timing of
That would be-
where we're at?
How about the social,
tell me to ask. I think the direct mailer may be the way to go with maybe something that they can,
Or
So-
social media
Yeah.
with the QR
the
code.
QR code. yeah.
And then,
I have that on the mailer as well.
Good.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
the QR codes, but, and then actually give people a little, people like to get stuff.
Mhm.
You're gonna do a drawing for a sleeve of bags or something, like
Yeah.
some little incentive. I mean, it doesn't cost a lot, but people love those things, like,
That'll work.
you know.
So question for you, we appropriated some of the grant funds at the last Board of Health meeting. We still have some left in, open for discussion.
Mhm.
Can I use grant funds to facilitate that mailing?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, anything that to reduce your trash.
I would hate to take away from the benches that we're talking about. But we may have to make some concession.
Okay, I think that's-
50 plastic bag collecting.
Like those better than the flyer.
Yeah, I think
Yes, sir.
your suggestion with direct mail would be much
Yeah.
more inclusive than a QR code, because a lot of people. don't
Oh, that's-
mention
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The two
I don't
things,
scan
yeah.
on QR. code.
And like, I mean, honestly, it was only recently, very recently, until like I began actually working a QR code and
Yeah, I barely know.
I mean,
how to use it myself,
I'm not
so.
sure that's good or bad for me.
But for the younger population, it's very quick and
I
convenient
know
for
it.
them.
I was just thinking of the older part.
Yeah,
But
no, you're right. We have to,
A mail back form
Yeah.
or something would be.
But if it's on the mailer and you and I can read the mailer and the QR code is there for those who want to use it, that's fine. We can use it just to hold the paper
exactly.
so we don't cover the words.
Gives you that option.
You could give people the option to do the QR code, drop it off at the town hall.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
I wouldn't say drop it off at bag vendors, that.
No, yeah.
Yeah, but you could drop it at town hall too, when you come in, pay a bill or whatever,
Transfer station, whatever, yeah.
that would be good too.
Yeah.
transfer station.
And we also have it on social media, so like you're really getting everybody.
I like the idea. of the
Strawberry
bags,
vine and,
Free
all
bags.
over.
I like the idea of the bag.
Mhm.
orange,
Yeah.
So, all right, we can work on that.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
coming up on 6 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I wanna.
Heather's dying to show you what she made.
I know, I've been hearing about it all day. Okay, so, all right, so the next meeting, obviously Jim is on vacation for the next month and a half. So do we want to look at,
We need him.
Yes.
Oh, listen to you.
so. And yeah, like, I mean, these weeks have been, like a little crazy anyways. So Jim is back on the 17th.
18th of January is a good time for me.
Just kidding.
How about if we try, how about Tuesday, the 23rd of January? Would that be okay with everyone?
Tuesday, the what?
The 23rd of January?
Fine with me.
Okay. That works
do
for,
we have board health scheduled that?
No. we have to-
it doesn't?
What,
Oh my God, really?
Mike?
And then one
What-
topic I
what
just want to
time?
bring up, not for now,
4
but
p.m.?
something for you guys.
4 or
to
5,
look at
whatever
in the
we can
future.
talk about, but,
Heather, you can't make it.
yeah, Heather has a conflict that day.
Oh, he's going away. Do we want to try another day?
How about if we, how about if we try Monday, the 22nd?
Is it Monday okay for everybody?
Monday, the 22nd, yeah,
Work, okay?
okay.
Does everyone prefer 4 or 5? What's better for people?
Thought 4 was okay, but you had a tough time getting here or no?
I'm sorry?
4 okay with you? 4
Oh, that's
o'clock?
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You okay with?
Is that
4?
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so like, we're confirmed for the 22nd at 4 p.m. We also have proposed the October 12th, 2023 meeting minutes for approval. Does anyone have any questions or?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the October
12th, 2023.
2023.
I second the
Okay,
motion.
great, okay.
Like motion made, seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's a vote. And adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Second,
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
I-
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Mike,
speak with
Yes.
you
Yes.
offline.
Yep.
Okay, you gotta take a look at these cupcakes.